All right, here we go. Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. This is part of Dirshu's Amud Yomi, where if you do it correctly, you finish Shas in 15 years. Hope to see everybody then. Okay. Hey, don't quit. Don't quit. It'll definitely be before we finish Nayach. Yeah, that's for sure. All right. So the goal is to be kind of a no frills shear. So to go through the Gemara, try to give it over as clearly as I can. I will try to mention simple things that Taisus mentions, and obviously anything you don't get, totally fine. It shouldn't affect your overall understanding of the Gemara. And if something's confusing you, just tune out and wait till we move on. Right? Isn't that what you say in class too? No. Okay.
I don't have to say it.
You don't have to say it. That's right. You don't want to encourage it. Huh? All right, here we go. All right, so the first Mishnah in Pesachim. Here we go. So we know there is a mitzvah in the Torah of eating matzah, and connect that there is an avera, a prohibition against eating chametz. And not only is eating chametz a problem, but owning and having or even seeing chametz is a problem. That's what's called bayira and bal yimatzeh. So the Mishnah begins and says, Arlar ba'asar, the R to the 14th. Now, R is a subject of our Gemara, so we don't know exactly what the word R means. It definitely does not mean light, as it normally does, because there's no such thing as light of the 14th. That doesn't make any sense. So it either means day or night, and we'll see in the Gemara exactly how that works. But the R of the 14th of Nisan, which is the day before Pesach, Badkin as a chametz. So either the night of the 14th or the daytime of the 14th, we search for chametz, and Rashi explains this is because of the prohibition of bal yira and bal yimatzeh. So Taisus here asks, well, what do you mean? We know that if you're mevatel it in your head and you nullify it, then there is no bal yira bal yimatzeh because it's not yours anymore. And it's batal, it's gone, it's not yours. So even if it's present, it's not an issue. So Taisus says it just means that there is a rabbinic mitzvah to search for the chametz so that you shouldn't come to eat it. So the Mishnah continues and says, "La'ar haner, you do this to the light of a lamp, and kol makom she'machnisim bechametz ein tzarich b'dika. But any place that you don't normally bring chametz into, there's no need for searching for that chametz. Now, when the Mishnah will go on to talk about 2 rows of a wine storage, a wine cellar, it says you have to check 2 rows, which we'll see shortly. But what was that referring to? So the Mishnah says that must be makom shemachnisim bechametz. It's only referring to a place, meaning a wine cellar, that you bring chametz into. As Rashi explains, typically they would have 2 types of wine cellars. One was there for aging wine, long-term storage, and one was there for short-term that you would go refill your bottle from at the table at every meal. So that was the more accessible one that was there for short-term. So when we're talking about checking the 2 rows of that cellar, that's only referring to the one that you would bring food into, because that's the one you would use during a meal, not the long-term storage one. Okay, so now what is this that we are referring to with the 2 rows? So the Mishnah says, Beis Shammai Emrim Beis Shurais Al Pnei Kol Amartev. Beis Shammai says you have to check 2 rows across the whole front of the cellar. Beis Hillel Emrim Shtei Shurais Hachitzanes Shein Al Yones. Beis Hillel say it's the outer rows, which are the top rows, which the Gemara will get into, explain exactly what these 2 opinions are and what they are referring to, and we will save that for the Gemara. All right, so the Gemara says, my R, what does this R mean? What does the word R in our Mishnah mean? Because again, it cannot mean light. So Rav Huna Amar, Rav Huna says, Nagir, it means day. So Rav Huna says that our Mishnah means the day of the 14th, that's when you check for chametz. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Leili, Rabbi Yehuda says it means the night of the 14th, you check for chametz. So the Gemara at this point says, we assume, the man de Amar Nagi Mamish, that the one who says daytime means literally daytime. Umanda Amar Leili Mamish, and the one who says nighttime means literally nighttime. Now Rashi and Taisus both point out that we're about to ask a bunch of questions on this, but we're really only asking on the first opinion, the one that says that it refers that to daytime and meaning literally daytime, that the Gemara is going to have a problem with. But when we say the nighttime, that is going to stick. That's certainly what it means according to Rabbi Yehuda.
Why you would need a candle?
Okay, all right, we'll have to get there. Okay. So, Meisvei, the Gemara asks the following question: when Yosef's brothers were leaving Egypt. So it says the morning was Ar, and the men were sent. So Alma would seem that Ar Yamamahu, that this Ar is a reference to the daytime, because it says Habaika Ar, the morning was Ar. So it sounds like morning and Ar are synonymous. The Gemara says no. Miksiv Ha'ar Biker. Does it say the Ar was the morning? No, it says Habaika Ar. It says the morning was Ar. That's what it says. And what is that? What can that mean? That can mean Kamanda Amar, as if someone were to say Tzafra Nahar, the morning has lit up, meaning to say that the word Ar in this case is not referring to day or night. It's simply referring to light. So the pasuk is saying that the morning became light, and then the men were sent on their way. So we see that the term Ar is not a reference to day or night in this case. It's simply referring to the concept of light, which again will not help us at all regarding our mission. Now, what does this have to do? Why is the pasuk telling us that they went when it's daytime? As Taisus points out, we're asking what's the point of the pasuk telling us that they went when it was light out? So the Gemara explains, Rav Yehuda Amarav, as Rav Yehuda said the name of Rav. Rav Yehuda Amarav, a person should always go in, meaning finish his travels when it is kitayv, and he should leave when it is kitayv. What is kitayv? That's a reference to the pasuk in creation and Bereshit, where it says that Hashem saw the light kitayv, that it was good. So we see the term light is referred to as kitayv, it is good, and therefore we can understand that the statement of Rav Yehuda Amarav that a person should always travel only during the light hours of the day, and that's what this pasuk is telling us, that the brothers, the Shatim, left when it was light. Again, not referring to day or night. Next, Mesa, the Gemara asks another question. Ucha'ar Baiker Yizrach Shemesh. David HaMelech is describing, and he's saying that the light, the R of day will shine like the sun. So what does this mean? Alma Ar Yamama. Simply understood, this means that the daytime is the R. The R is day. So again, we see that the term R is synonymous with the term day. So the Gemara answers no. Miksiv R Biker. It doesn't say the R is the day. It says Ucha'ar Biker. It says, and as the R was the morning. So what does this mean? So that's what it says. This is what it means to say. As the light in the morning is in this world, that it will be bright like the sun for the righteous in the world to come. Meaning to say that David HaMelech is simply saying here that as the morning just starts to become light, which for us is essentially still dark, but is just starting to dawn, so there's a little bit of light out there, and for that time, for the righteous in the world to come, for the tzaddikim, it will be bright as day, meaning to say that there will be no darkness for the tzaddikim in Olam Haba. And again, over here, we're saying that the term R is not referring to day or night, it is simply referring to light. May say the Gemara asks another question. The pasuk says that Hashem called the light day. So here it seems to be very clear that the term R is referring to the light of day. So it would seem that R is day. Alma Ar Yamamahu. It would seem that the day, that R is a reference to the day. The Gemara says, no, this is what it means to say. L'meir uba karayim. To that which is light and lightening, meaning that the light is coming, meaning, again, the verb of light, not the noun of day or night, but the fact that it is light, it is becoming light out, that is what Hashem called daytime. Meaning once it started becoming light out, Hashem said, this is what we're going to call day. Okay. So the Gemara says, but if that's the case, then what about the next part of the pasuk where it says, that he called the darkness night? Are you going to tell me again, that as it's getting dark, that's what Hashem called it night? Just like as it's becoming light, Hashem called it day. So then as it's turning dark, it's what Hashem called night. But don't we hold that until the stars come out, it's still considered daytime? So the night doesn't start when it starts getting dark. The night only starts when it's completely dark. So yes, you might say that the morning starts when it starts getting light out, but you can't say the night starts when it starts getting dark out. So how do these two parts of the pasuk fit? So the Gemara says, you're right. Ella, rather, we're going to have to say a different answer. This is what the pasuk means. The Hashem called the light, meaning that he appointed it. And is appointed it to do its work during the daytime. And Hashem called to the darkness, and appointed it to do its work during the nighttime. Meaning to say that when it says that Hashem called the light day, it doesn't mean that he gave it a name. What it means is that he appointed the light to do its work during the daytime, and he appointed the darkness to do its work during the nighttime. And each part of the world has its function when it needs to do what. So again, here we see the term ar is not referring to day or night, it's simply referring to the light. Mesa the Gemara challenges once again. Hallelujah kol kochevei ar. The pasuk says that all of the stars of ar will praise Hashem. Alma ar urtuhu. So that would seem to mean that the light here, the ar here, is referring to the nighttime, right? Because that's when the stars are out. The stars are giving their light at night. So the kochevei ar, the stars of the night, would seem to be what the pasuk says. The Gemara says, this is what it means. Halul kol kochavim hameirim. All the stars that give light should praise Hashem. Again, not talking about day or night, it's talking about the verb of giving light. The Gemara says, oh, wait a minute. Elamayata, so if that's true, kochavim hameirim hu debo shvuche. Only the stars that give light are the ones that need to sing praise to Hashem. But the stars that don't give light, those don't have to sing praise to Hashem. But the pasuk says, halul kol tzvav. All of Hashem's legions, meaning all of the stars, are praising Hashem. So how could you tell me that the stars that don't give light aren't included? Right? Which seems to imply that there are stars that don't give light. So either that means it's the stars that we can't see, so they're not providing light for us. That's what it means. Or it's referring to some sort of black matter, and we're not going to get into all that stuff. You can come back to the Bereshit class 15 years ago, and we'll talk about that then. So, Ella hakamashal. So rather, what's this coming to tell us? The ar the kechavim nami arhu. So it must be that if the pasuk is saying that the stars that give light are called ar, they are called light. So it must be coming to teach me something, because we know all of the stars sing Hashem praises. Whether they provide us light or they don't provide us light, they're all singing Hashem's praises. So what is the pasuk telling us? That it's the ones that provide light that sing praise to Hashem. It's coming to tell us that the light of stars is considered light. That counts as light. So l'may nafkamina, who cares? What's the difference? Who cares if it counts as light or not? The Gemara says, l'neider min ha'ar. It makes a difference for somebody who makes a neder not to benefit from light. The Tanya is on the Brisa, ha'neider min ha'ar. Somebody who makes a neder not to benefit from light is not allowed to even benefit from the light of the stars, because that it is also considered halachically to be light. All right, we'll stop here. See you tomorrow.
Like you get benefit from.